So, welcome to everyone to this 2017 LGM in Brazil. We had a more academic opening yesterday, and today you have our talks of community software and using things. And we start scheduling with Simon from GIMP, talking about the state of Libre Graphics. What has changed? Okay, you present this thing.
Thank you. Good morning. Traditionally, we start with is this working? I think so. Traditionally, we start with the state of Libre Graphics, which is basically a collection of updates on the state of various projects in the Libre Graphics universe. And the slides I'm going to present are actually the work of many. I'm just presenting, and try to do this as good as I can. So let's start with some notes on some of the underlying layers of the free and open source graphics tools. Carlos Garnacho, who is sitting over there, has been so kind to provide some input on GNOME and GTK+, which are used by many Libre Graphics programs. And especially regarding GNOME, there has been much work on the tablets, the support for graphics tablets, and limitations that previously have imposed us by X11 have actually been removed. So now styluses and other tablet tools are now fully supported and support the full range of access which are provided by the tools. For example, tool rotation, the small wheel on the airbrush tools from the Wacom graphics tablets, and the distance from the tablets, of how far is the pen hovering on top of the tablet, and stuff like this. Also, applications now have full control over extra buttons, which some of the tablets have. So they no longer need to be translated to keyboard input to some virtual keys or whatever. Regarding GTK+, GTK+ has been reworked extensively in the last few years, and it's now less X11 centric as well. A lot of the API of GTK+ was influenced by concepts from X11, and actually was following them far too closely in many regards. So the API is now more generic and more higher level, so that we can have a better grasp on the differences between the different supported platforms. One important example for this is that the data structure GDK window has been removed, and those were basically an abstraction of the X windows since for like ages. And now GTK+ has a client-side implementation of that and kept the semantics, but GTK4 really got rid of them and now only has a top-level window, and everything inside of it is dealt with by the toolkit. Regarding dealing with user input, the now preferred way is to use GTK gesture. The older GTK event is only necessary if you really need raw access to the mouse coordinates, but everything else should happen in like gestures like clicking or sliding or whatever. And in a similar manner, CSS is now way more integrated with the core of GTK. Widgets can be fully customized with CSS, and the need to implement your own drawing function is reduced a lot. GTK4 also incorporates all these facilities more tightly. So what you see here is actually a screenshot from Font Validator. Hintag Leung sent a report about his efforts with Font Validator, the tool for testing fonts prior to release. It was originally developed by Microsoft. Version 1.0 was released in 2003. Version 1.1 was never released by Microsoft actually, since they have stopped development on the font validator since in 2009. In November 2015, Microsoft has released a substantial part of the unfinished source code to GitHub, with a few important proprietary parts removed. And HintTag has invested a lot of work on making it work on non-Windows platforms and has done quite some improvements over the time. The screenshots you're about to see show font validator actually running on Linux. Sorry, could I have something to drink? I'm quite dry. So at LGM 2016, the release parts were functional and worked well. And after that, HintTag was pondering a while and released 2.0 in July 2016. Missing parts of the user interface have been re-implemented in WebKit. FreeType has been heavily patched to resurrect the check for the hinting instructions. And actually, we have now some Python scripting for font validator. It has a built-in Python interpreter since May 2016, and the customized FreeType hinting diagnostics backend is now independently accessible from FreeType-py with a Python-based alternative command line frontend since March 2017. In the next time, there will be a focus on actually testing fonts. Font reports for the Libre fonts shipped by Fedora 24. Thanks a lot. So, as I said, the focus in the next time will be on actually testing the fonts. Fonts reports for the Libre fonts shipped by Fedora 24 were published. Font owners and maintainers are invited to have a look at theirs. And at around August, HintTag will retest on Fedora 26 to see if and how Libre fonts have improved. Hopefully this tool will help improve the fonts available, free fonts available. So more font-related stuff. Nathan Willis has compiled an overview over some further font-related utilities. And FontForge, which many of you might know, is in a stable state these days, and there is still ongoing development. The most recent updates include adding support for Unicode 9.0 and support for the glyph order and alias DB metadata file format used by many command line tools like Adobe's font development kit for OpenType. FontForge was also updated to ensure that binary font builds are bit for bit reproducible. And this is an important feature for security auditing and was requested by Debian's reproducible builds team. Moving forward, significant efforts have gone into refactoring and simplifying the application's menu structure. This is only available for now in the new menus branch on GitHub. If you're interested in font editing, please test this and give feedback. Another font editor is TrueFont, which is a more recent free software font editor project and has also been in rapid development over the past year. Recent highlights for users include more major drawing tools, tabbed glyph editing interface, and the use of half-bus to lay out the glyph canons. This ensures that sample text in complex scripts like Arabic and Indic appears correctly on screen. The workflow for coding and working with layers has also been improved. And under the hood, work has gone into the extension builder, improving the undo and redo stack and improving platform integration across Linux, macOS, and Windows. Looking to the future, the project considers migrating from Qt to WX Windows for the user interface, hoping for an improved native OS experience for Mac and Windows users, but there is no final decision on that yet. Some various other small or not so small things. Last September, the OpenType committee released version 1.8 of the OpenType font format specification, which added support for variable fonts. With these, multiple widths and styles can be encoded into a single font file. The result is far more compact than a complete family of individual font files. But more important is that a variable font can be interpolated on the fly between all of its various styles. This kind of major new feature requires good software support, and the good news is that the FreeType renderer and the half-bus layout engine already support the new format. Users can also test several open source variable fonts like Decobar and Amstelbar in nightly builds of Firefox and Chrome. Then the Google Noto team has released FontMake, which is a full-featured compiler for OpenType fonts. FontMake was developed for the Noto Pan Unicode font project, and work is ongoing to make it equally useful for building everyone else's fonts. And yes, FontMake can build the new OpenType variable fonts. On the build front, Font Bakery, a continuous integration system, has added a massive number of new tests and can be run on a Docker Kubernetes cluster with a web dashboard. And Font Bakery can actually test and validate the entire Google Fonts library in 12 minutes. And finally, some word of thanks. The type community is happy to see the new user interface controls for accessing OpenType font features in both Inkscape and Scribus. This is a long requested addition by many in the creative community, and your type designers want to say thanks and hope to see the trend continue. So regarding Scribus, Christoph Schäfer has sent in a status update on Scribus. So the next development release 1.5.3 will be released in the first week of May. And it is extraordinarily stable and can already be used in productive workflows, provided you don't need some of the new text features like footnotes. The current development version is already much faster and more stable than the current official stable version. Compared to the version 1.4.x, the feature set has been more than doubled. More import and export filters have been written or added via the third-party libraries. Scribus is also on the way to fully embrace CRE LRB as its default color model. Scribus 1.5.3 includes a completely rewritten text layout system, which means that Scribus supports almost all writing systems on this planet. With the exception of CJK, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Korean scripts and related scripts, this also includes a new text cache to speed up on canvas editing of text significantly. Scribus 1.5.3 has been featured extensively in the, by the leading European IT publisher Heise, and it has 21 pages of dedicated to it in one of its most successful magazines, the CT Digital Photography. And after the release of 1.5.3 in May, the Scribus team will focus on finally fixing the many existing UI issues. So, Farid Abdelnour, he is over there, has sent me some slides regarding KDN Live. And KDN Live is an acronym for the KDE Nonlinear Video Editor. So I guess the name speaks pretty much for itself. KDN Live was ported to Qt5 and KDE Framework 5 in 2015. In 2016, the project saw a period of stability and a tremendous rise in community members and engagement. A lot of the features have been added, and the Windows port has been released. I guess that's quite an impressive list. I won't read them all. The version 17.04 should have, you announced them for like yesterday. Did it happen?
It was released yesterday.
Yeah, great. It's out since yesterday, and features a Windows beta release and an automated app image build system to help test the refactoring branch and new coming features. In the beginning of 2017, the refactoring branch was created, where the timeline display was switched to the QML graphic framework, allowing collapsible tracks, improved feedback, and other user interaction. This video shows some of the changes. Besides that, also a major architectural cleanup and rewrite was started to improve stability and maintainability of the code. Some of the code was over 10 years old, so taking a long, hard look at that is probably justified. All these changes will come with the 17.8 release, which is due in August this year. After refactoring KDE Live, we'll be ready to go a step further and bring professional-grade features to the floss video editing world. All in all, 2017 promises to be an exciting year for KDE Live, and you're invited to join the project. Konstantin Dmitriev has sent an update on Synfig Studio, an open source 2D animation software. With Synfig, you can create motion graphics and cut out animations for product explanation videos, tutorial videos, and more. After 16 months of development, a new stable version 1.2.0 was released this year. The new version introduces a new completely rewritten rendering engine built with optimization in mind and advanced task-based architecture. Currently, it is providing a significant speed up for bitmap and vector elements, full multi-threading, and also reduces the memory usage. Another feature of the new version is an integration with another open source tool, the Papagayo lip sync software. Read my lips. Both features were developed and tested within production of a new animated short, Maria Morevna Episode 3, and were funded through crowdfunding campaigns. The short is made with Synfig and was released under Creative Commons by SA license in the middle of 2016. The sources and the animated short are also published under the same license. Konstantin also sent in some updates on the umbrella project for this animation short, which is the Morevna project, which is creating animated shorts using open source software. As part of animation production, the team of the Morevna project is contributing to the development of many open source tools like Synfig, OpenToons, Papagayo, and RenderChat. Last year, the Morevna project released 2 animated shorts. The first one is the just mentioned episode 3 of the Maria Morevna series, based on a traditional Russian fairy tale. The artwork has been painted with Krita. The animation was made in Synfig. The second is a Russian music video for kids, What is Etiquette? It is made with Blender and is available for watching in stereoscopic 3D. As already mentioned, the integration of Synfig with Papagayo was developed within the production of Maria Morevna. And another notable development this year was the integration of MyPaint brushes into the OpenToons animation software. Right now, the team of the Morevna project prepares the release of the animated version of the Pepper and Carrot webcomic by David Rivoy. This project was crowdfunded in summer 2016, and all animation is made using Blender. Another animation in production is the next episode of the Maria Morevna series, and for updates on the project, please check the official website. And Pippin, who is over there, sent in some updates regarding Babel and Gegel, a library for graph-based image processing. Among others, this library is the main driving factor for the new architecture of the GIMP. Here are some of the more recent advancements. When using cubic and linear interpolation for scaling down, unwanted side effects like bad quality or moire effects can happen. And while this was improved by no-halo and low-halo resamplers, Gegel and GIMP have now switched to use a box filter, giving more robust results when using linear or cubic downscaling. Another important addition is mid-map preview rendering, which allows quick previews due to only processing the pixels that are shown on the screen. While not all of the filters can work that way, important filters like blur, unsharp mask, and color filters can. This will eventually result in a big speed up for the live on-canvas previews in GIMP. Gegel Chain is a new serialization format that also makes Gaggle usable directly from the command line. So Pippin will give a talk on this. I think it's the next one, or so this will probably be quite interesting. The animation and the drop shadow of the Gaggle logo you see up there was made using this technology. Then there was the introduction of change notifications, which enable listeners to get notified by operations for whatever reason. And the way Gaggle increases is, the other important way Gaggle increases in functionality is primarily by new operations. The current slide lists some of the new ones. So Gaggle is actually a collaborative effort. Contributors in the last year are listed in the left column of this slide. The right column lists the names of Patreon supporters of Pippin, who is basically the lead developer of Gaggle. Their support provides a basic level of financial independence for him, making it easier to continue the maintenance as well as further experiments with the technical infrastructure for GIMP and other tools. GIMP. There are tons of news for GIMP, which happens to be my pet project as well. There are quite a few GIMP guys around, roughly this area. Please don't hesitate to approach us if you have any questions or suggestions. This slide lists a number of improvements in the user interface. Single mode is default, as well as dark theme and symbolic icons. Cut and paste has been improved to work as intended. The text input methods now no longer trash GIMP. The session management now remembers more dialog defaults. Gaggle filters are integrated much more smoothly. Plus some ancient limits like the 4 GB XCF file size limit have been removed. A lot of work has gone into proper color managed workflow. It took a lot of discussions, but we're finally sure to have a solid foundation. Compositing and blending has been reworked from the ground up, and while this UI still needs work to not overwhelm users with the new possibilities, the results look very promising. We work with the Darktable developers and now use Darktable for top-notch raw import. And other new plugins are, for example, the Wavelet Decompose plugin, which allows to edit images on different detail levels. Work on the documentation for GIMP 2.10 has kicked off, and it's actually quite an effort to explain all the new stuff. And on other news, we've started to increase our conference attendance and plan to do more developer meetings. Akana Peck and Pat David attended the Texas Linux Fest 2016 and had a very productive we had a very productive developer meeting the Wilbur Week 3 months ago near Barcelona. Oh, and one more thing. We will release 2.10 in 2017. We are actually ready to do that promise. And again, if you have any questions, please ask us. So, and finally, Pat David sent in an update on the state of pixels.us, a photographic community brought together by free software. The goal of the community is to provide tutorials, workflows, and a showcase for high-quality photography using free software. The community has had an amazing year. The forums has seen over 3.1 million page views and has grown to over 1,350 users. Traffic has grown steadily since we started, and we have an active and engaged community. Also, we have started raw.pixels.us to store and make available raw files for any project to use for testing or other purposes. This is to replace the old rawsamples.ch website that is no longer functioning. To date, we have 693 raw sample files from 477 different cameras. Please check this site and donate raw samples to help. We are hoping to help free software photography needs projects with any infrastructure support they may need. And we are always looking forward to meeting new folks, so please come join us and help us grow the community. So that's from Pat David, and actually that's the last set of updates I have received from other people, so I hope this was a good overview on the state of the Libre Graphics. Thank you.